Hello, so it's just Carmen here. I'm just going to give you a quick little tour on how to access and navigate your IO online account. Once you have signed up for your account and you've paid for your 3-month membership, then you go into the left-hand side where it says Member Login, where you put your username and your password. They've probably have given you a temporary password, and if they've done that, you should go up to Profile as soon as you log in, if it doesn't prompt you to do so already, to change your password to something that is specific for yourself, that's a little more secure. This is also the place where you can add a little thumbnail image of yourself if you so chose to do that. On the right hand side, the first thing I would suggest doing upon entering here would be to go to this tour icon. Here you will be prompted into a video, and it will open up automatically and give you some overall quick, easy access tips on how to get inside and navigate. Also, there are some interesting little short videos right in the middle section here also. On the right hand side, there's also a reading room and some recommended websites. Both of these are really good resources. Many of them I've embedded into this course already, as we do have a couple of U of C representatives who actively help out with this site and create lots of aspects of it. The main areas that you're going to want to pay attention to are the tabs across the top. So when you click on Projects, it will take you to where you can actually start to create a new project, or if you had some that were existing, it would show your existing projects here. So in this particular one, you can see that I have created a sample project, and then I could get inside that project and open it and get at it. To create a new one, which is what you would do if you were choosing this for your project at the end of the course, which I would highly recommend, as it's really more authentic in relation to being able to create some kind of a lesson you could actually use with your students in the fall and really put this inquiry learning into practice. Anyways, here where it's title, you would then create the name of your project and then the description. So you'd enter in a description of what it is. The start and end date I wouldn't worry too much about, and that's not a required field. That one I would just consider to leave blank. In the grade area, you would put what grade level you're going to do. So if you're going to do grade 12 social studies lesson, for example, that's what you would choose. It does give you the option to publish to community projects, but I would suggest just waiting until you have it all finished. You can decide if you want to do that or not. It is a great way to share back with people, and others have shared projects too. Then once you have that done, you click on Save, and then you enter inside your project, and then it will guide you through the different aspects that you need to do. So in relation to creating really good inquiry lessons, first of all, you'd want to define what the understanding is. So what do you want them to be able to know and understand and be able to do once you are finished with your lesson. Student engagement. What are going to be some ways that you're going to engage your student intellectually as well as academically? So what are some different ways that you can engage your students, and what are some methods that are going to be used for that process? The resources that you would add would be websites, links to various aspects that could enhance and provide additional background for students, or an option for being able to find and locate certain information. Technology would be where you are going to add tech-assisted tools. So you're purposely thinking about how you can plan your instructional design and have that embedded in there. So it's purposely putting the appropriate technology inside, and not just putting technology for just technology's sake, but what is something that would really make sense to add and assist your project for the students. Curriculum, which is extremely important, of course. So how are you going to map that to your provincial standard? So here in Alberta, how would you map that to the Alberta Program of Studies, ensuring that you are meeting the essential outcomes that your project goals are wanting to do. Tasks and activities would be any tasks or activities that the students would be doing in relation to their inquiry project, and you would be adding in the details for that. And then assessment would be, of course, how do you know at the end that your students have learned what you wanted them to? So that really loops back to the defined understanding. Many people in Alberta, and anyone who's trained with backwards design, often start with the assessment aspect as soon as you decide what your understanding is and what the outcomes are for your lesson, going to how you're going to assess that, and then the activities that you build in would ensure that it's meeting your overall goals. So your you're thinking about how you're going to assess at the end, and then billing it towards that final assessment. As you can see, there all these different aspects. You can add in different attachments and different files, so you can really make it dynamic and really comprehensive. And at the end of it, it can be shared like a web page, or you can just keep it as a teacher access, or you can also invite peers to be able to collaborate with you, or to be able to share or edit with you, that sort of thing. Okay, so in the project area, when you get to that stage, this is where you will do that. So you'll be doing it in My Projects. One thing I want to show you too before you get started, you may be asking yourself, well, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. So a good place to start would also be in the Showcase projects as well as Community projects. And here you can actually choose the grade level and the subject area, and you can actually see some existing projects that have been created already, so you get a feel for what that might look like, and it might give you some ideas. Some of you might already have your ideas, but it's good to be able to take a look at what others have done. And then Community projects is the same thing. So here you can go in and see what are some different projects that have been created, and what does the format of this actually look like, so you can have some exemplars to look at. The Discussions tab is for you to be able to discuss with your different peers. You can actually have private discussions, so you can of course just email the person too, and I'll show you how you can do that right in here also. Or you can just do it like a little discussion forum. So if you had people to, you would create a new discussion forum, and then you would add the people that you want to have discussions with, and they could get email alerts also, so that they know that a discussion has taken place. Peers is a really important tab. For this particular one, you can see some of my previous and current aspects here, but you want to go through. So if you decide that you want to do this project as a partner, you want to go through and find a member, and then you would search their first and last name, and then you click on the search function, and then you add them as a peer. Then once you have them as a peer, you can see how you can remove or delete them, and then if they are an active member, then you can email them directly from here also. And what's important about that is if you go back to your projects and say you wanted to share your project with somebody, here is where you would then be able, once your peers have been added to that list, you could then click on who you want to share your projects with, and if they're only allowed to view or edit. And I still haven't decided how we're going to share instead of doing the Illuminate, but likely it'll be using this function also, and I'll fill you in the next few weeks. But anyways, if you're wanting to do this as a partner, that's how you add someone to view or edit. Okay, and the class function is more so once you're using this in a classroom of your own, you can actually create a class and have students engaged inside here. Many school divisions have learning management systems already, so you may just need a link to the various aspects, but you can actually put your students in here too, so that option does exist for you when you're finished this course. So hopefully that gives you a pretty good overview. So I'm hoping that by the end of this week you'd feel pretty confident with moving around here and how it's set up, as well as the overall site itself too. And then the next few weeks we're going to be going through and looking at what kind of aspects would you put inside a good inquiry lesson, and doing some more research and readings with that will build on towards your final project. So hopefully this is helpful, and thanks very much for listening. If you've got any questions, you know how to reach me.